Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. Is It Legal focuses on the legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices in Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
You know, oftentimes people want to know what is an elder law attorney, and they oftentimes think that an elder law attorney is an estate planner.
Yeah, and you'll often hear estate planners claiming to be elder law attorneys. But what I envision in an elder law attorney is not only dealing with the estate and documents and things like that, but also all the lifetime issues affecting seniors, like long-term care and health insurance and drugs and taxes and the whole gamut.
Well, when it's an estate planner, passing assets to the next generation, avoiding probate, avoiding inheritance taxes, avoiding federal estate tax, you have to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Elder law, how am I going to interact with Social Security? How am I going to interact with Medicare? How's my health insurance going to interact with Medicare? Am I going to lose all my assets to long-term health care costs? While the estate planning that elder law attorneys do, it's really primarily just simple wills and getting assets transferred to whomever's supposed to get it at the end of the day. But dealing with these intermediate problems, you're not dead, but there's all kinds of financial risk.
Yeah, when in final analysis, the estate and death issues are fairly concrete and the rules are fairly concrete. But while you're alive, your life can take any number of paths and you can face any number of issues, especially in the long-term care world.
You know, and there's a whole spectrum of care that has to be considered. Not every choice is appropriate for everybody. Yes. Everybody wants in-home services. Well, in-home services can be twice as expensive as a nursing home.
Yeah, and that's the thing that surprises a lot of people when they think, well, I'll just stay home and my Medicare will pay for it and everything will be wonderful. But that's not the reality.
Is Medicare going to pay for it?
No. Or if it does, it's really tiny amounts.
Yeah, and so the reality of it is that when you have a person with advancing dementia or significant health issues, which 8 hours do they need support?
Well, not only that, but they might have 8 hours, but the time they check out, the caregiver leaves, and then mom or dad falls over and lays there all night, that's a problem.
That's what I mean. So you end up with having people there a lot more than they're actually doing any work because they're there for just in case. Well, that's why it becomes prohibitively expensive.
Right, and if you do the analysis, 24 hours of in-home care is going to be a lot more expensive than 24 hours in a nursing facility.
And then the next level of, is cottages, and we like cottages, particularly in these continuing care retirement communities. But most of the time, the service model there is somewhat limited. It's they're in that continuing care environment where there may be a nursing home attached to it, but there's not nursing home care attached to the cottage.
Yeah, and people are often surprised because they think of nursing homes as this monolithic thing, and the reality is it's a spectrum of care, and it's not all the same.
And then oftentimes people who need some sporadic amounts of care, apartments within the continuing care retirement community might be appropriate.
Sure.
Some of these facilities will do some a la carte services, a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the evening. Might be a nice balance for a person who needs some assistance, but not a lot.
And that's a good point because the facilities are now offering a greater number of those slices of care, so you really can customize the care for your needs.
And then you get assisted living, and that is now 7x24 care. But there's a reason why it costs half the cost of a nursing home, is because it has half the staffing level of a nursing home.
Right.
So it's a person who needs continuous support, but not nursing home level of support.
Exactly, and so the challenge is finding that exact sliver of care and then being able to evolve as your needs evolve.
And part of the reason we like continuing care retirement communities with a husband and wife is that then it can allow the healthier spouse to not have to pay for the same service model that the unhealthy spouse requires.
Exactly, and so you also have a little, well, in many cases, a lot more support for that healthy spouse so that he or she then can live an active lifestyle and maintain their strength and their health, and someone's there for the ill spouse.
And then the continuing care retirement community then has a nursing home attached to it, at which point, you know, there's the full spectrum of services there. Now, as the single persons, it's not quite as important that you use a CCRC because, in fact, there are standalone facilities that may be appropriate for that person's needs.
Yeah, we're in a wonderful opportunity now, especially between Maryland and Pennsylvania, where there's so many different opportunities for an individual to receive customized care.
And one of the interesting things about it is every facility has different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And so some of the most well-known facilities in this region are not terribly strong on dementia, and so you sometimes have to look to a different facility if that's the challenge affecting the family member.
Exactly.
If, on the other hand, advanced dementia is not a huge problem, you know, then you can look at differing facilities. And one of the things that we end up doing is talking to people about relative strengths and weaknesses of facilities.
Yeah, I think that's one of the greatest advantages of talking to us or someone who does this every day is that we're aware of that and we can help direct families to the right setting.
Tom, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
You're welcome.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance worries to us. Write Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Double Safe Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lough to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to the special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. My guest today is Stacey Crawford, President of Washington County Community Foundation. Welcome to the show, Stacey.
Thank you, Mike.
You know, when we talk about community foundations, the first response that we used to get 20 years ago, much less so now today, is what is a community foundation?
Absolutely. So a community foundation is an organization that holds funds for the benefit of the community and is driven on donor intent. And so it is made so that donors can come in, have a conversation with us and decide their charitable goals.
All right, and so what it does is the creation of a private foundation in today's dollars really got $5 to $10 million. All kinds of administrative expense in the creation of it, dealing with the IRS, accounting and auditing functions and so forth. And so what the Community Foundation does is essentially provide an umbrella that a person can create their own foundation, but none of the nightmares of actually doing it.
That's correct, and we can create that foundation with much less assets. And so our funds start with as little as $5,000, and that can be established over a 5-year period. So for people to come in and be able to do that and take away the administrative issues of the IRS and filing, and also just the, getting the tax deduction, the paperwork done, or even knowing about what the community issues are. We're there to provide that support.
And so you would take that 5,000 or 25 or whatever the number might be, and what would be the typical distribution off of that account?
Yes, so it's typically, we have a spending policy that is approved by our board, and at this point we're at a 5% of the last 20 rolling quarters. So what does that mean? That's a calculation that's done annually, and so on a $5,000 endowment, that's about $250.
All right, and so that money would be distributed indefinitely for the benefit of whatever charity the donor chose.
Absolutely, and that's the key word. Whatever the donor's intent, whatever they want is what we do.
So you don't, it's not a program-based organization, it's just fulfilling donor intent.
It is. And of course the caveat is we fill donor intent for charitable organizations, and so we do not grant to individuals, we grant to organizations.
So it could be a scholarship if you wanted for a particular high school. It could also be, for your church. It could be for a community-free clinic or Holly Place or any place else that you want to endow a gift for.
Yes, and that's where we can help provide the options that are there. And when you speak about scholarships, of course, those go for specific parameters on a student and are given directly to their institution of choice.
And so once again, if you look at a scholarship choice, you can define the terms yourself. And as we oftentimes say, that that top 1% student has a plethora of opportunities, but you could create one that might benefit somebody who had to work through high school or something, give some credit for that.
You can, and you can absolutely create a scholarship that would be for a non-traditional student or someone within the trade fields, and we can certainly help with those options also.
And so there's basically two overall types of funds. One's endowed, one's not endowed. What the heck does that mean?
That's the key question. So an endowed fund is into perpetuity. That's where we do abide by that 5% spending policy each year for the disbursement calculation. The non-endowed funds, though, are more accessible for our donors. And so a donor-advised fund or an agency fund that's non-endowed, that agency or that donor can access some of the principal of those dollars down to a certain level that we have established.
Well, the fact is that the rules are not, there are no rules in essence. The job of the community foundation is to fulfill donor intent, and as long as it's for a charitable purpose, you're here to help them do it.
That's correct. We are here for the donors, for the agencies, and for the benefit of Washington County.
And some people watching the show are going to say, well, 5%, they couldn't make 5% on that if they had it in CDs and so forth. But actually, the investment performance of the Community Foundation for more than 20 years has been able to sustain a 5% distribution.
Yes, we have, and our investment committee looks at that on a quarterly basis, and we are able. Our 5-year annualized return right now is just over 7.5%.
And so they're able to not only pay the fees, grow the account a little bit, and to sustain that charitable intent that they have over an extended period of time.
Yes.
All right, so how would a person find out more about the Community Foundation?
Sure. So if you'd like to find out more, we certainly welcome you to look on our website. That's www.cfwcmd.org. Or
Google Community Foundation Washington County.
Google Community Foundation of Washington County. Yep. Make sure it's Community Foundation of Washington County, Maryland, because there's one in Mississippi. So please check out the Maryland one. Or you can always call us and or stop by. We are centrally located right across from Bulls and Bears in downtown Hagerstown at 37.
From the new Maryland Theater.
And next to the new Maryland Theater, our wonderful new neighbors, so our newly renovated neighbors.
Stacey, I want to thank you for taking time to appear on the program.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquillity at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquillity, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquillity at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Ma'am, give me a good push.
Hang on, just 1 minute.
Ma'am, I need you to push right now.
Honey, you really need to push.
It's time.
Just hold on a minute.
No, right now, one push, ma'am, one push.
Just one more bid on hurleyauctions.com.
If you haven't visited hurleyauctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at hurleyauctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Bridget Keefe, Community Relations Director, Tranquillity of Fredericktown. Welcome to the show, Bridget.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
You know, when we talk about assisted living facilities, which Tranquillity is, and you've had a serious upgrade in the last several years because you have both assisted living and a dedicated dementia unit.
Correct. A dedicated 34-bed secure dementia unit. Mm-hmm.
You know, and your facility, unfortunately, like some of the other facilities, originally didn't fully anticipate the need for dementia beds fully dedicated to it, and you've now solved that with an addition.
We have, and then that also caused us to convert our small memory care that we used to have into more assisted living beds, too.
All right, and so, you know, it allows people to go there while they're still able to function semi-independently, even if they have a diagnosis of dementia. They don't end up in the dementia unit unless for some reason they need to be controlled.
Right. We allow people, and we are capable of having those with cognitive impairment in our assisted living. We use a wander guard if we need to. So yes, you're right. The memory care's for more behavioral issues that can come with the mid to end stage.
But when I say assisted living, what do people hear?
They hear nursing home.
So let's have Director Greg pull up some pictures here and show that this is not a nursing home. So first of all, these are two actual residents who are perfectly capable, not in the nursing home. One come and be in the picture.
They were worried about me walking down in high heels to take the picture, so they came with me in case I fell.
All right, and so this facility has definitely the look of a first-class hotel.
Yes, it does.
And those cars, many of those cars are the residents' cars.
Yeah, we have a group of residents that definitely drive still.
So you don't lose your car just because you're
No, you don't.
All right, and so this is in the main reception area here.
Right. We just redid that fireplace.
And it looks like you have some sort of a nice event going on.
We do. Our culinary director does cooking demonstrations that are interactive with our residents.
Okay, and so this is another part of the reception area, and then back into a group area as well. Okay, and then, so what kind of what do we have here?
This is my favorite apartment. It's a 1-bedroom with a living room and a kitchenette. I don't think we have a picture of the kitchenette, but that's the living room, and the next shot is the bedroom.
And what you also see there is that they have individual control of their rooms and their temperatures.
Their heating and air and beautiful views.
Yeah, those are nice windows there.
Yeah, nice bright view.
You know, one of the things we talk to families about all the time, and I know you struggle with this, is that assisted living, there's some actuarials as to the amount of time people are likely to spend there. On average, it's 2 years, you know, so people are oftentimes looking at costs and they're extrapolating out that I couldn't afford it for 10 years. Well, the reality is they're not likely to be there 10 years.
Right, and you know, it's all about quality of life and what type of lifestyle you want. So your choices here are assisted living or skilled nursing, and you've addressed this before. You have to be medically needy to go into a skilled nursing.
People think it's going to save money. It's not. The government's not going to pay your nursing home bill unless you need to be there. And on whole, if you can be in assisted living, you don't need to be in a nursing home.
Right, and it's a fraction of the cost, and you get, again, like those ladies down by the sign, you really benefit from activities, social engagement, medical care, which we have, therapies, all of that.
Now, it used to be that you didn't get physical or occupational speech therapy in assisted living, but that's available today.
Yes, it's on site, actually.
And it's covered by Medicare.
And it is covered by Medicare, correct.
You know, you used to say, well, if a person had incontinence, they couldn't be in assisted living.
Now, virtually everyone has incontinence, and we manage that with respect for our resident, and we manage it privately for them.
How about pets?
We do have a dog and 3 cats living with us right now.
So you don't have to give them up.
No,
as
you don't have to give them up.
As long as they're manageable within.
Right.
Okay.
And we have families who bring their pets all the time to visit as well.
Okay. Suppose I wanted to have a cigarette.
You may, even though it's not a good idea, you may. We have a designated smoking area, and we've got cigars and cigarettes going out there.
You know, I know sometimes people are afraid they're going to have to give up their cocktail hour.
You are not, as long as you have a doctor's order and you don't have an alcohol issue, you may have cocktails at our happy hour.
So how do they get in contact with you?
Well, you can stop by. We're at 6441 Jefferson Pike in Frederick, or they can call us at 301-668-6030.
As always, Bridget, thanks for taking time to appear on the show.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
The Community Foundation, through its scholarship programs and through its strategic grants, has been a positive influence for change.
Last year, change in Frederick County was influenced thanks to nearly 1,800 caring donors. Everyone can help. Your influence is key.
Help us proactively focus on where we need to be investing our energy in the future.
Albright, Crumbacher, Mal & Idtel are a full-service firm that provides elder care services, including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on Contemporary Retirement. Making Sense focuses on the financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Ed Lough, financial advisor, Northwestern Mutual Life. Welcome to the show, Ed.
Thank you, Mike.
You know, I just made reference to a mutual life insurance. Many companies 40, 50 years ago were mutuals, which meant the policyholders owned the company. What was the benefit of that?
The benefit of that was that they would receive the dividends.
Excess profits went
Excess profits from those companies, correct.
And so unfortunately, many companies that were mutuals in the past are now stock companies, which means the excess profits go to the stockholders.
That's correct. So you have fewer and fewer mutuals as time goes forward.
And we won't get into why, but in any event, so you know, a mutual has a structural advantage for a policyholder over a stock company.
It does. The products they sell certainly have fixed costs, and of course, receiving the dividends increases the death benefit and the cash accumulation.
One of the problems that we have here is we have an awful lot of our viewers that own a policy that they don't realize, even though you can make all the payments on it, may not pay a death benefit. Now, Northwestern policy, you get a bill, and that's all you see from them. And it's whether it's monthly or quarterly or annually, and that's it. There's nothing else other than saying what it's worth. But if you have a policy out there that once a year it's 5 or 6 pages with a spreadsheet, what does that mean?
Well, it means it's a universal life or adjustable premium type contract, and it's a policy that may or may not pay in the future.
That's what we're trying to caution people of. You can pay all of the payments on that policy, and in most instances, if you live too long, that policy is not going to pay a death benefit. And yet people were told every day it was equivalent of a whole life product, which it's not.
No, it is not equivalent to a whole life policy, not at all.
And yet I'll show people on that statement that says right on its face, it's not going to pay if you're still alive in 2023 or 2028. And they kind of look at it and they're just shocked.
Well, yeah, they either don't understand it, it was not explained to them, or they simply have forgotten.
So any event, so if a person has one of those policies that has a significant amount of cash value, but it's in the process of deteriorating, going flat or going down, sometimes there's a methodology that you could convert that policy into a policy that is in fact got a guaranteed death benefit.
That's correct. If you're insurable, you could change it to a whole life contract that does have a fixed expense inside that contract so that you're not going to have to pay higher premiums or lose the policy.
And it's going to pay the death benefit.
It's going to pay the death benefit, and you can do that by simply doing a 1035 exchange of the cash value into the new contract.
So we oftentimes caution people is that if you were to own that policy, and if I were to suggest to you they're going to give you a whole bunch of money, you pay a small premium, if you're still alive 5 years from now, you're going to get nothing. Most people say, well, no, I would never do that. Yet they don't understand if they keep the policy, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and there's more and more education at this point trying to go on to let people know that these contracts may or may not pay in the future because of increased costs internally, and you might want to address that as well.
And as we talk to younger folks, we just, if you have the purpose of buying that policy is not to have it terminate coverage in 10 years or 15 years, then you need to look at a policy that has got a guaranteed death benefit.
That's correct. And people are buying these universal lifestyle policies, and they are believing that they're going to last forever. And in a lot of cases, unfortunately, that's not the case.
There are ways of saving the policies, and you and I work with clients to try to save the existing policy, but for most people it comes as quite a shock because it may require, if you have that product, which we don't like to begin with, but if you do have that product, you may have to make substantially higher premiums in order to keep it alive.
Well, you just said it's substantially higher, and that's what occurs in the ones that we've reviewed, and it's unfortunate because some people just are unable to do that.
And I go back to that spreadsheet. If you got that spreadsheet and you're getting that policy like that, you need to talk to someone who understands what that policy is actually saying to be sure that that's what you intend to do.
Correct. Mike, there are two important columns on that spreadsheet, and one is the cost of insurance column, which actually will show from year to year that number getting larger, and then the other one is the cash value column, and if that cash has begun to go backward, you are now entering that
level or going down or
yes.
ceasing to grow.
Yeah, now you're in the danger. You've entered the danger zone.
Yeah, because the only way that policy could have survived is it had to grow to have the cash value equal to the death benefit sometime by the time person's 75 or 80, or it's probably going to go backward.
And if it does go backward and it hits zero in many cases, then you may lose your coverage.
Ed, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just as simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.